Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to if you are brand new. I am so happy to have you and I hope that you will stick around. Don't know why we were a little blurry. A lot's been going on, a lot of things, and this garden tour is very, very delayed, but that's okay. That is a-okay. We're gonna film it now. It's not perfect. Not everything is as tidy as it should be or was or anything, but it is on its way to that. We've had a lot of rain and very hot days, and it hasn't really been good conditions to work outside. But we're getting a little bit of a break in the weather. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the garden tour. Over here you will see my Silver Queen hybrid corn. It's doing very well. It's sending out some ears. If you can see there. And then I believe that's one. And that's actually one as well. But yeah, so that is the Silver Queen corn. Going back down to here, this is the area that has yet to be finished with weed eating, but we have the cantaloupe, zinnias that are coming over from this bed, cantaloupe vines, strawberry patch, bed, whatever you want to call it. It's doing very well. Everything's doing really well. It just needs to be a little bit more maintained, which is okay. Then as we go over here, we have some more zinnias. These are, I believe, these are candy cane mixes, but I believe these white ones are white weddings. I believe those are double enchantresses or something like that. More of the white wedding. If you look over here, those are potatoes. I believe those are the russet red potatoes. I want to go ahead and make it known, I did pull the potatoes. If you have not seen that video yet, it is already up on the channel. I can have it linked at the end or in the description. But yeah, the potatoes were pulled the other day. It's actually probably been about a month ago, almost a month. Probably like a week short of a month. But those are growing. I'm going to show you guys those in that video as well, or in this video as well. A bunch of different videos are going to be coming up preparing for fall. Fall things need to be done. Same thing within the winter, or in the spring. So a lot of that's happening, just a bunch of everything's happening. So we were trying to do things in a permaculture practice as well. That's why some of this grass is still here. I'm going to end up just pulling it all by hand or weed eating. Pulling it by hand is actually a little bit easier. Takes a little bit longer, but it is easier, and the ducks and the chickens really enjoy it. Now, let's continue our garden tour. Going up, we still have a cabbage or two in here as well, I think the last cabbage is going to be picked very shortly, probably within the next week or two. More like today is Saturday. You guys are going to be seeing this on Monday. That will probably be picked Thursday. But yeah, it's a little bit of a mess right now. This soil right here, I'm going to need to use to cover my potatoes. Some of it because I don't have enough, and then we're going to see where I am from there. It just trying to get things falling into place in a different way, and I guess it's just not time for that right now, which is okay. Garden tour on pause again. Yeah, just trying to get things sorted with that. We were supposed to get compost this year, earlier this year. That didn't happen. So I'm gonna see if we can get some this fall. If not this fall, it'll for sure be in the spring. But a lot of stuff's been going on, a lot of stuff I haven't talked about on here, but it will happen, whether it's in the fall or in the summer. Or in the spring, and I will show you guys the process for that, what I do, some benefits to using fresh compost versus older compost, or some benefits to using older compost. Well, that's what I just said. But yeah, some things it is better to use older compost. like potatoes, your roots, stuff like that, that is when it is better to use older compost, because it doesn't have as much nitrogen in it. So I really do, since I'm not rotating my beds, I'm not crop rotating, I will go ahead and move soil from place to place, especially with the potatoes. Potatoes don't need as much nitrogen because nitrogen really supports upper growth. In the case of the corn, you want greenery. With potatoes and roots, you don't want a lot of green. I mean, you want green, obviously, but you don't want so much green where tubers aren't being produced. Anyways, let's get back into this garden tour for real. Okay, moving over to the rest of the craziness. These are tromboncino squashes. I did pull out one of these actually, because there were squash bugs on it. How I deal with squash bugs is I rip the plant out. I'm not going to sit over here and try to keep them alive. It gets pulled out and it gets replaced with something else it's not going to eat. That is how I manage my population. Simply because I am not going to spray anything on my plants. I'm an organic gardener. I do take a lot of pride in being an organic gardener. As far as me myself, I'm not spraying anything on it, or no one's spraying anything on my garden. How the compost is produced, how stuff like that, I'm not fully aware. I do want to start doing my own compost, but that is not in one of the systems that I am currently have plans to develop right now, but I'm trying to work on different things. So, the squash bugs get pulled out and they go right to the chickens, and that seems to manage my population quite well, actually. This year we didn't have as many. Last year we had a lot last year, and then this year it actually waited a long time before I even saw a squash. You guys actually saw one in a garden tour. But yeah, it was a lot after that. Not a lot after that. There still weren't many, but definitely more than I would have liked. So it's not that bad. It got pulled out. I got a few more squash than I thought I would get. So we'll just continue to see, and I will plant more squash later on this fall. Okay, it looks a little wild. Right here we have a sunflower, and then we have some loofahs, which have not produced any loofahs. I'm very surprised. So if anybody knows anything about loofahs, it's grown a lot. I think the heat just got to them, but I hope they do produce something and they don't just take up space. I'm going to try them again, maybe at a different time next year, but yeah, a little disappointed. That's okay. Sunflowers in the garden. That's a multi-headed one that I moved from the center of my arch trellis bed, which we are going to be going to right now. Actually, let's pause at the zinnias. These zinnias are doing really well. I need to get in here and deadhead. That'll be something that I do tomorrow morning. I do have a family reunion tomorrow, so I am going to be doing a lot of maintenance in the garden before that, and then taking a shower right before we go. So just deadheading some of these, probably picking a bouquet or two. But yeah, cutting them will promote more growth, as with a lot of plants, obviously. But if I can get a good picture. But yeah, they're doing incredibly well. Some of my favorites include this one, and then the crimpled look on these, and then the large dahlia look, which I know I've talked about a lot this year with this guy. One plant, I still need to save some seeds. I think I actually did save some seeds. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what I've saved as of right now. Going into our arch trellis, As you will see, the sunflowers have been taken out. I am going to be replanting those. I am, again, trying to wait for more compost to see what's going on. But they will be, the stalks will be removed. All the sunflowers, except for that multi-headed one that I have been removed. I don't have any of the mammoth blooming anymore or anything like that. I'll be saving seeds, and then whatever I don't save will be going right to my hens. The green beans up front are doing very, very well. I will probably be pulling them soon just to try to get a fresh wave in. But as you can see, they're still producing, so I just need to pick what's on here now, and they'll just continue setting blossoms, which is the good thing about green beans. Moving over here, which I know that is a mess. I'll be getting to that though. Cucumbers are doing well. They're starting to die. Once I can get to this and actually trellis them properly, I will be replanting this with more cucumbers. Cucumbers just did really well right here. Coming in here, the green beans, again, as you can see, there are green beans there, some there, just throughout. You can probably see them poking through. But yeah. Some of it's dying, just things where it's been choked out. That is okay, it's normal. Just pull out the dead and continue getting good air circulation. We do have one lone zinnia in here, which I will be pulling. I don't think it's necessarily needed here anymore. Other than that, the squash had to be pulled, some nasturtiums were pulled, and yeah, all of those are going to be replanted. Maybe not here, but they will be replanted eventually. Sunflower stalks, we have one nasturtium left over here. The cucamelons are going wild. Yeah, incredibly wild. You can see a lot on there. I have not come in here to pick them yet, but I do love cucamelons. Some of my favorites in the garden, besides tomatoes. That kind of concludes that with the trellis. The beans that I have over here, right above me, are Kentucky Wonder pole beans. I enjoy the pole beans on here because the pole beans will continue to produce throughout the year as long as you are continually pulling them when they are coming on, and they're not able to develop the actual beans inside. The cucamelons will forever be grown on a trellis because they look so good. And then with the beans, they kind of just, oh, I love it. As you can see, some sunflowers were pulled. They'll be given to the chickens, whatever I don't feel like saving. I am taking some seeds to the family reunion tomorrow. I believe the white lights, there might have been something else. But anyways, for the cucumbers, the cucumbers down here are Bush Champions. Most of the cucumbers that I mentioned in this, except for one variety, which I will specify, are Bush Champion cucumbers. All the cucumbers that I've harvested this year, if you've been following along on Instagram, have been Bush Champions. This year has been a really good cucumber year in my opinion, but I really like the Bush Champions. They just produce maybe not crazy amounts of fruit. It got really hot here. It needed more soil. Varying factors, but I do think that these have a potential to really be a good fruit. Going up to the tomato bed, they are currently a mess, which I need to try to manage, which I'm going to be, but still setting fruit, just needs to be trellised, pruned properly, and they'll start taking off even more. This is ginger from my cousin Kim. Let me get back so I can get a picture for her. The ginger is taking off. Absolutely love it. Love to see it. And then that is turmeric. Going over here, you can see some dark opal basil. I need to continue to prune that. I've been dehydrating some, and that has been going really well. The tomato varieties, right now I cannot tell what is what. I know that the majority of the ones that we have gotten have been from this plant right here, which we haven't gotten many, but we've gotten a good number. But these are Sun Gold tomatoes, the Sun Gold ones, I really, really, really like. They set so many fruit. It's just phenomenal. Moving around to this side, you can see more dark opal basil. Coming in between the beds, you can see more basil. I believe that's sweet Italian basil. More tomatoes. Again, everything needs to be pruned, but they are doing really well. Otherwise, this side, none of the black creme that I thought were black creme have come up, or even continued, I don't think. So I just need to get in there, prune, see what's what, and yeah, we will come up with a better solution for that. These are Best Boy tomatoes. They have been a real struggle for me in the past, but I'm going to continue growing them because this crop is not horrible. I'm gonna really weigh my options here, so we'll see. But I'm definitely not going to give up on them because, I mean, they're doing well so far this year, so we'll see. Now, going up to our kiddie pools, as I told you guys, I pulled the potatoes from the big pool and the buckets. I also pulled the dragon tongue bush beans and the on deck corn. I am going to be re-sowing this bed with the exact same thing. Potentially, I might actually be moving things now that I think about it, but I'll tell you guys the plan once I come up with it. The potatoes over here are doing really well. There are some Adirondack Blue, some red variety as well, but they're doing very well. Over here, the zinnias are doing fantastic as always. Beautiful, beautiful blooms, y'all. I think one of my favorites from this pool, not that one. One of my favorites is this one. In the background, right over there, you can see the potato kiddie pool that needs to be weeded again and covered with more soil. But I did replant the potatoes. Actually, my sister replanted the potatoes in this bed, but they're doing incredibly well as well. Once they peek out from above the side, that's when I will cover them up to the top and we'll really start to see what they're doing. Moving over here, this Bush Champion cucumber plant is doing really nothing right now. That's okay. I'm going to be resetting this space as well. Just getting a little crispy. That is actually a ground cherry. That's like the 25th time that I've planted ground cherries, and I'm so glad that they're coming up. The ground cherries have been a real struggle for me. I've started a few times. I had chickens getting out and tearing up the soil like literally the same day or the day after that I would replant them. So it was just a real hard time. So I'll be taking you guys back up there to look at the carrots and the blueberry plants, the blueberry bushes, and then some cucumbers from my cousin Kim. This pool right now is empty. It did have squash bugs in it, but that's fine. We'll continue to go forward with it. These are the carrots. I'll pull one just to see. One's already actually pulled down there. Interesting. But I will have more in-depth videos on the carrots later on, how they did, my thoughts, my everything on them. But, sorry, not horrible. We're trying. Certainly trying. But yeah, I'll get that in a minute. The blueberry plants are doing fairly well. Some weeds in here that need to be pulled. Just gets a little hot, so we'll be monitoring them. They'll probably still be in a bucket for a few seasons. They definitely need to get bigger. Over here, these are the cucumbers from my cousin Kim. That was an old one, but these guys are actually looking really well. These came all the way from Georgia, so I am going to be saving seeds from Mr. Cucumber right here. Might actually pull the other plants first, but I don't think they're flowering, so might be saving one from another one that comes up, and I'll just have to mark it because I don't have any other cucumbers at the moment. But that concludes the garden tour for really the end of the end of July. I will be labeling this one garden tour July/August, because it really is what it is the July/August one. So yeah, we'll just have to see what's happening. I am still trying to get out 2 garden tours a month. This one's just gonna have to account for 2, at least for the time being. You guys will be seeing a lot more of the garden because I'm going to be resetting spaces, so don't think that this is my way of trying to say that I'm not going to be showing you guys. I'm going to be showing you guys the garden, replanting different things, showing you guys what you can plant for fall, what you should plant for fall, when you should plant it, how far from your last frost date, everything. It's not just going to be catered towards my needs or my area. I'm going to try to make this as inclusive as possible, or at least give you a way to figure out how to do it for yourself. As always, ask questions. If you have any comments, questions, anything, please leave them in the description below, or not description, the comments below. I feel like I do that every video now. Leave them in the comments below and I will be happy to get to them as soon as possible. Until then, y'all stay good, and I believe the next video will be you guys meeting the new arrivals, which if you were already on Instagram, you follow me on there, you will see those guys before that video comes out. Obviously, you guys have already seen them if you're on there now, but a lot of things are happening. Things are getting ready to pick up a little bit. We have, not to spoil anything and not to make this anything other than a garden tour, but we do have a coop rebuild coming up. We have some other things that are coming up, all of which I'm going to be taking you guys with me on. So I hope that you guys will stay here for that. It might get a little boring and videos might be a little scattered at times, but I am trying, y'all. And I hope you guys know that. No matter how crazy videos get or life gets, this is still my passion. I love filming. I love documenting things. I love sharing my experiences, and I love helping others. So I will be doing this for a very long time. But if I take a break, I'm not just leaving. I am going to be back, and I won't take any more than probably a week break, just to edit, to film. But if you're looking for videos from me, you can just type my name into the search bar. And best way to know when I post is to turn on post notifications. But if you don't have that, you just type in my name, and you can go to the community tab underneath of that, and more than likely I will have said, hey, a video isn't coming out right now, it'll be out in a few days, whatever. Try to give a date as best as possible, but sometimes it's not as accurate. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue. I might just switch it to 2 videos a week, so you guys be prepared for that. It's not the end of 3 videos a week. Just for this season right now, I need to do 2 videos a week. This might only be for a week, might only be for 2 weeks. Thing is, it's just going. So when I have videos and I have enough, I'll let you guys know. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in another one. And until then, y'all stay good. Bye, y'all.